Welcome, gentlemen, to the Stoic community. Today, we're not just talking about what it means to be a man, we're exploring what it takes. We'll delve into the Stoic philosophy to uncover the true measures of manhood, examining the principles of strength, self-control, compassion, sacrifice, and unwavering resolve. Let's begin. You call yourself a man? Prove it. The words cut through the silence, a direct and unapologetic challenge from a seasoned Stoic philosopher. No room for excuses, no tolerance for weakness. This is a summons to the very core of your manhood. Too often, we hear men boast about what it means to be a real man. They wax poetic about courage, sacrifice, and strength of character. But when the moment of truth arrives, when life's trials put their mettle to the test, where do they stand? Do they have the unwavering backbone, the unshakable resolve, to weather the storms that true masculinity demands? As the great Stoic thinker Marcus Aurelius said, a man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. So I ask you now, my fellow men, what are the true measures of your ambition? Are you content to blend into the crowd and let life happen to you, rather than seizing it with both hands and shaping it to your will? No. A real man knows that comfort is the enemy of greatness. He understands that the path to becoming the best version of himself requires embracing hardship, cultivating uncompromising self-discipline, and shouldering the burdens of responsibility without complaint. This is not a call for the faint of heart, this is a challenge for those who dare to forge their own way, to carve their names into the annals of history through sheer force of will. So I ask you again, do you have what it takes to prove your worth as a true man? The choice is yours, the time for action is now. Show some backbone and act like a man. As the great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius once proclaimed, a man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. We must grapple with this foundational truth as we strive to become the men we were meant to be. Too often, we allow the world to define manhood for us, by the cars we drive, the clothes we wear, and the money we accumulate. But true masculinity is not found in material trappings or the opinions of others, it is forged through the crucible of adversity, tempered by our willingness to make difficult sacrifices, and honed by an unwavering resolve in the face of hardship. Throughout history, countless examples of men have embodied this uncompromising spirit. Take the men of the Titanic, for instance. As the great ship sank, they could have panicked and fought for their own survival. Instead, they ensured the women and children were evacuated first, showing their mettle in the face of certain death. Or consider the actions of Navy SEAL Kyle Carpenter during a firefight in Afghanistan. Carpenter made the split-second decision to throw himself onto a live grenade to shield his fellow Marine. Though the blast ravaged his body, he survived, later stating, "I didn't feel like dying that day." These stories inspire us and remind us of the greatness that lies dormant within each of us. But make no mistake, the path to such nobility is paved with pain, toil, and hardship. It requires us to push past our natural tendencies to do what is difficult rather than what is comfortable. This is where self-discipline becomes the bedrock of our manhood. It's not enough to want success or to dream of being better, we must be willing to do the things we don't feel like doing, to embrace the suck, to forge ourselves into the men we know we can become. Look at the story of David Goggins, a former Navy SEAL who, by his own admission, was a fat, lazy, undisciplined kid before transforming himself into one of the toughest men on the planet. Goggins didn't have some magical genetic advantage, he refused to quit, to make excuses, to let his circumstances define him. And that, my brothers, is the essence of true manhood. The willingness to be reborn through adversity, to let the fires of hardship forge us into something stronger, more resilient, more capable than we ever thought possible. It doesn't matter where you started from, what obstacles you've faced, what failures you've endured, what matters is whether you're willing to keep going, to refuse to be broken, to stand tall in the face of whatever life throws your way. Because, make no mistake, the path to becoming a real man is not easy. There will be moments where you want to quit, where you'll be tempted to succumb to self-pity or find solace in temporary distractions. But it is in those darkest moments that the true measure of your manhood will be revealed. Self-control, the defining trait of a man. At the heart of Stoic philosophy lies the belief that true strength comes not from our ability to dominate others, but from our mastery over ourselves. As the great Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." This principle of self-control is the foundation upon which true masculinity is built. It is not enough to desire success or to dream of becoming a better version of ourselves. We must be willing to do the things we don't feel like doing, to embrace the discomfort, and push past the natural inclinations of our minds and bodies. The emotionally immature man seeks motivation to do something difficult just once, but the emotionally mature, true man has cultivated the discipline to do that hard thing 1,000 times over. He understands that feelings are fleeting, that emotions can deceive us, and that we only forge the strength of character that defines our manhood through consistent, unwavering action. Be there for your family. Strength without purpose is meaningless. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. This speaks to a fundamental truth: a real man's power lies not in domination, but in his ability to be a positive force for those around him, especially his family. Being there for your family isn't just about grand gestures or heroic sacrifices, it's about the day-to-day commitment to being present, engaged, and the rock upon which your loved ones can always rely. When we fulfill our responsibilities to our families, we create a ripple effect that extends far beyond our immediate circle. We set an example for our children, showing them what it means to be a man of integrity who can be counted on. Show kindness and understanding. Strength is not dominance or aggression, but wisdom and compassion. Consider the example of Nelson Mandela. After spending 27 years in prison under the brutal apartheid regime, Mandela had every reason to seek revenge. Instead, he chose the path of reconciliation and forgiveness. Mandela's strength wasn't in his ability to punish his oppressors, but in his capacity for forgiveness and his vision for a united South Africa. This is the essence of true manhood, the ability to rise above our baser instincts and choose the path of wisdom and understanding. Being kind and understanding also means having the courage to be vulnerable. Many men mistakenly believe that showing emotion or admitting weakness is unmanly, but history's greatest leaders have shown us otherwise. Make sacrifices when needed. Sometimes we must be willing to put everything on the line for a cause greater than ourselves. But sacrifice isn't always about grand, heroic gestures. Often, it's about the small, daily choices we make. Remember, true manhood isn't about what you gain, but what you're willing to give up. It's about having the courage to do what's right, even when it costs you. Do what needs to be done, without whining. The ability to face life's challenges without complaint and to do what needs to be done separates men from boys. Consider the story of Admiral James Stockdale, who spent 8 years as a prisoner of war in Vietnam. Despite enduring torture and solitary confinement, Stockdale never lost his resolve. When asked about his experience, Stockdale didn't complain about his suffering. Instead, he said, "I never lost faith in the end of the story. I never doubted not only that I would get out, but also that I would prevail in the end and turn the experience into the defining event of my life, which in retrospect I would not trade." This principle applies to our daily lives as well. Embrace the Stoic path. The power to change your life lies in your ability to control your mind and actions. The Stoics taught that true strength comes from mastering oneself. Every moment you choose action over inaction, purpose over distraction, you are building your character and moving closer to your highest self. As Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This journey isn't easy, but the rewards are immeasurable. The world needs men of principle, men who stand firm, lift others, and do what's right, no matter the cost. Will you be that man? The choice is yours, the path is clear. Now it's time to act. Go forth, and be the man you were meant to be. The world is waiting. Subscribe to our channel to continue your journey towards becoming the best version of yourself. Like this video and share it with other men who could benefit from this message. We'll see you next time.